A high-level U.S. delegation is touching down in Islamabad, Pakistan, looking to broker an urgent deal. But President Donald Trump is attempting to negotiate at the barrel of a gun. He is offering what he calls a fair deal, but the demands are steep. First, Iran must put its entire nuclear program on ice for the next 20 years. Second, Tehran has to physically box up its enriched nuclear material and hand it directly over to the United States. The alternative is a military threat. If Iran refuses these terms, the White House promises a systematic bombing campaign aimed directly at Iranian power plants. Trump has publicly guaranteed that under this crushing weight, the Iranian leadership will fold easily. By every conventional geopolitical playbook, parking an overwhelming military threat right next to a diplomatic off-ramp should trigger an immediate desperate scramble to the negotiating table. Yet, as American representatives arrive, the Iranian side of the table remains completely empty. Tehran hasn't even confirmed if they are sending a delegation. Why is the threat of an imminent, massive bombing campaign failing to produce a single ripple of panic from Iranian officials? To understand why the government is stonewalling, you have to stop looking at the empty chairs in Islamabad and look at the millions of citizens currently flooding the streets of Iran. Look at what happened recently when Iranian official Abbas Araghchi sent out a single social media post. He suggested that the Strait of Hormuz, a highly contested global shipping choke point controlled by the Iranian military, had been opened. The reaction back home was instantaneous and furious. Millions of Iranians, who have been gathering in the streets every single night, erupted. To the public, opening that strait meant giving up their strongest piece of leverage against the American military without extracting a single concession in return. The outrage was so intense that it forced the entire political establishment into full-blown crisis management mode. The National Security Council rushed to issue a detailed, multi-point clarification, while Parliament Speaker Muhammad Bakr Ghalibaf had to sit for an hour and 15-minute television interview solely to pacify his own citizens. This internal panic reveals exactly where the true pressure lies. Right now, Iran's leaders are far more terrified of crossing their own populace than they are of facing American missiles. There is a specific chant echoing through these nightly protests, Hayhat min zilah. It translates roughly to an absolute refusal to accept humiliation. These citizens are currently sustaining their own economy through severe sanctions. They feel they are holding their ground in an asymmetric war, and they outright reject any politician who tries to surrender that battlefield leverage during a diplomatic meeting. This satellite view shows the footprint of a key nuclear facility. To the Iranian street, that infrastructure and its enriched material are viewed with the same reverence as their sovereign soil. Handing it over to a foreign power is a non-negotiable red line. You can see this power dynamic playing out in real time. While Donald Trump fires off 37 late-night social media posts trying to force a deal, Tehran weaponizes its silence, perfectly content to let the clock run. Iran has set a blunt precondition for diplomacy. They will only meet as absolute equals. They refuse to sit down while blockades or bombing threats hang over their heads. The leadership has already sent direct warnings to U.S. delegates like J.D. Vance. If America wants a meeting, they have to earn Iran's trust first, and Tehran will not entertain a nation acting, in their words, drunk on power. This defiance is driven by a domestic political concept called Mardim Salari, or public-aware rule. The negotiators don't have free rein. They are tightly restricted by the demands of a highly engaged populace, and that public confidence is entirely backed by a belief in their own military endurance. As the Islamabad summit waits for a resolution, American diplomats face a rigid reality. They aren't negotiating with a desperate regime looking for a quick exit. Any deal they propose has to pass a much harsher judge, the approval of the Iranian street.